Getting work done on your home? Well, a licensed contractor is an absolute must, and we'll tell you why on today's show. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Not only do we have that friendly reminder from Volusia's Building and Zoning Division, but we'll also bring you some recycling tips. We'll take a look at Daytona Beach International Airport's 35-year anniversary with partner Delta Airlines, and we'll even bring you some news about parking opportunities for beachgoers. Then we'll head into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron to find out what's new when it comes to major road projects and even SunRail, when he sits down to chat with his guest, Steve Olson, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Transportation 5th District. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. Here's a reminder from Volusia County's Building and Zoning Division. When doing home improvements or an addition, homeowners should make sure the work is done by a licensed contractor. By hiring a licensed contractor, homeowners will have peace of mind knowing that the project will be done by someone with appropriate knowledge and the proper workers' compensation and liability insurance, and one who has the necessary experience. Don Vancini, Volusia County's Director of Building and Zoning, said while hiring an unlicensed contractor may provide a quick fix in the short term, it could result in many serious and lasting consequences, including further damage to property.
Some of the dangers of using unlicensed contractors: poor workmanship, non-compliance with building codes. Homeowners may be liable for personal or financial injuries to others if the home is damaged. You may be responsible for the damage. Liens may be placed on your property for material suppliers and unpaid workers.
Vancini said homeowners should look for the following qualifications when choosing a contractor. Ask to see a state-issued license, which looks like the example seen on your screen. Ask for references. A legitimate contractor will be happy to provide names and contact information of recent customers. Get a written estimate from several licensed contractors. Make sure the estimate includes the complete scope of work, the materials involved, the completion date, payment schedule, and total cost. Beware of contractors who claim to be the fastest or the cheapest. Hiring them could result in poor workmanship, inferior materials, or unfinished jobs. Vancini said unlicensed contractors often target the uninformed and inexperienced, as well as the elderly. They often solicit door-to-door, frequently traveling in unmarked trucks and vans. They give a post office box address instead of a street address, and they convince the homeowner to obtain the necessary building permits. To find out if an individual is properly licensed, call Volusia County Contractor Licensing at 386-736-5957 and choose option 2. With an eye to future off-beach parking needs, the Volusia County Council has approved the purchase of 2 beachfront properties. The properties, the Argosy Motel in Ormond by the Sea and the Jasmine Motel in Daytona Beach Shores, have a combined price of $2.65 million below market value. The beachfront property acquisitions will result in more than 130 new beachfront parking spaces for beachgoers. Each parcel is less than an acre and will require the demolition of the aging motels. The Argosy parcel will provide 56 off-beach parking spaces in an area where cars hadn't been able to drive since the 1990s due to soft sand. The site is a half-mile south of the county's Tom Rennick Park, which opened in 2003 with restrooms, showers, and 52 parking spaces. The Jasmine property is south of Dunlawton Avenue and within walking distance of the Sunglow Pier. It's adjacent to Dahlia Avenue Park, a converted beach approach that has a restroom, deck, and beach access. This purchase could result in 66 spaces plus 17 spaces on the former Dahlia Beach approach for a total of 83 spaces. The Argosy and Jasmine purchases are the first pieces in the county's latest push for more off-beach parking spaces.
It's a perfect location, heavily utilized. I think it's, for the money, because of that park, it is definitely worth it. It's a little more than I'd like to spend, but being that it's next to the bathroom and the savings that we'll find because of that, it puts it up in a very good value based on that aspect.
The county currently has more than 3,500 off-beach parking spaces from Ormond by the Sea through the Canaveral National Seashore. For more information, you can go to volusia.org. For 35 years, Daytona Beach International Airport has enjoyed a loyal partnership with Delta Airlines, and recently the airport celebrated that 35th anniversary with Delta's passengers. Passengers on arriving flights to Daytona Beach International Airport on September 26th were treated to cupcakes and other goodies as they got off the plane and entered the terminal. It was back in 1979 that Delta Airlines began daily scheduled passenger service between what was then known as Daytona Beach Regional Airport and Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport. Steve Cook, Business Development Director for Daytona Beach International Airport, said the relationship with Delta is an economic asset for the county.
We continue to talk to them about opportunities possibly in the Washington, D.C. area and also in New York, and those discussions will continue. But I think for the near term, what we see is them adding more seats, possibly bigger aircraft, into the Atlanta market and then through their hub system throughout the United States and the world. They have about 200 connections a day in Atlanta. So you can get anywhere you want to get on the planet Earth from the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport.
Since service began 35 years ago, Delta has flown more than 125,000 flights in and out of Daytona Beach International Airport.
Future, I think, is more service, more seats, and bigger airplanes. That's what you're going to see at Daytona Beach International Airport. Our market is very viable. We really have about a 50-mile radius around the airport where the market is ours. We just need to have service to fulfill the needs of our customers and our passengers. And we think the airlines are seeing that is very viable, and so I think the airport's going to do well in the future.
For more information, you can go to flydaytonafirst.com.
Hello, I'm Reggie Santilli, and I'm a member of Volusia Eco Advisory Committee. The volunteer group works closely with Volusia County Council and makes recommendations on projects that enhance the quality of life for our citizens. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve in this capacity. If you would like to share your skills and serve your community, why not consider joining one of Volusia County's advisory boards? We have openings on several boards. If you want to make a difference in your community, please visit volusia.org/advisory.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle, the 3 R's for waste management. When you put your recyclables to the curb, you're helping to reduce the amount of trash that goes into the landfill. And as Volusia Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley explains, you're also helping to create new products from those recyclables.
Florida's Solid Waste Management Act, passed in 1988, requires that each county reduce its solid waste disposal by 30% through waste reduction and recycling programs. And Volusia County is meeting this goal. The county has contracted with Gel Recycling for more than 16 years to process recyclables collected throughout Volusia County.
We've grown with Volusia County. We consider this a public-private partnership, and this great partnership has allowed us to evolve and to be able to give a nice program for the residents of Volusia County.
Gene Evans is the president of GEL, which has a production facility at the county's Tomoka landfill and processes all of the curbside recyclables for unincorporated Volusia County and the cities.
In Volusia County, we have a two-sort system program where the fiber, which is the paper, is in one container, the truck, and the containers are in the other, which is your plastic, steel, aluminum, and glass. It's put on a conveyor sort system, and we sort the material by grade and how we can market it. The plastic into its 3 different grades, which is PET, HDP natural we call it, which is like the milk jugs, and then HDP color. which is your Clorox and Tide bottles.
And gel recycles lots of cardboard. All of the cardboard that comes into the plant is picked up by a Jacksonville mill who turns it back into new cardboard boxes. The plant has sophisticated machinery in place that separates the plastics from glass and cans. A magnet pulls out the steel cans, and then the rest goes through 2 optical sorters.
It comes over the conveyor, and there's the light on that piece of tile right there, and it actually tells you what kind of plastic it is, and it blows it into either bin.
After the recyclables are sorted, they are baled and readied for delivery to a number of manufacturers in the United States and globally. Soda bottles can be made back into a fiber which can be used for clothing or carpeting. Colored plastics can be made into products like paint buckets, which are found at big named home improvement stores. Recycled glass also has many uses.
We take the glass and take it to our Orange City plant and process some of it, but it can be made into a road-based product and also into sandblasting media and filter media.
Evans says many people don't know what happens to the recyclables and that education is critical.
We encourage tours to come out to the plant so they can see what happens with the products that they put at the curb.
And remember to complete the recycling circle by purchasing goods produced with recycled content. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
For more information on recycling, including what items you can recycle and tips on reducing and reusing, visit volusia.org/recycle. Horticulture specialist Joe Sewards brings us Horticulture Today with some tips on fall lawn care.
Hi, I'm Joe Sewards and this is Horticulture Today. Today we're going to talk about fall lawn care. It's fall now, temperatures are getting cooler, days are getting shorter, grass growth is slowing down. As of October 1st, we are again allowed to apply nitrogen and phosphorus to our lawns according to the Volusia County ordinance. You want to guard against over-applying nitrogen this time of the year because you don't want to force unnecessary green growth as the grass grows into dormancy. I have a couple of products with me here today that would be acceptable for applying this time of the year, depending on what you've already applied. One thing that you might want to look for if you haven't fertilized your turf since the spring would be something with some nitrogen in it, like this product here, a 15015 that contains minor elements. When you apply this product, if it is 50% slow release or more, you can apply up to 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. If it is a quick release product, then you're only allowed to apply 1/2 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. If you need help working that out, you can call us here at the Extension office and we can tell you how much of any given product to apply to meet county requirements. If your lawn has been adequately fertilized up till now and has received adequate nitrogen, in other words, if the lawn is still green and healthy and growing, you might just want to apply something like this product, which is a 0024. This contains nothing but potash. And potash is a critical element to maintain the health of grass. Studies at the University of Florida have shown that potash over the course of a growing season should be applied in equal amounts as nitrogen. Potash helps strengthen roots. It also helps improve cold tolerance, which will also help green your lawn up faster in the spring when temperatures start to warm again. So the important thing you need to remember is grass growth is slowing down. It's not necessary to apply a lot of nitrogen this time of the year. Green grass will not be as healthy if it gets frozen as grass that has been allowed to go dormant. So watch how much nitrogen you're applying. If nitrogen is adequate, consider applying something only like potash, which will help strengthen roots, improve cold tolerance, and it will consequently help your lawn green up more quickly in the spring. If you have questions about lawn care, you can call us here at the University of Florida IFAS Extension office in Volusia County. Our phone number is area code 822-5778, or you can find us on the web at volusia.org/extension. You can also email your questions to our Master Gardener Plant Clinic. That one's an easy one to remember as well. mastergardener@volusia.org. You can email us photos, you can submit questions, and a Master Gardener will reply to you. So that's a little bit about fall lawn care. For Horticulture Today, I'm Joe Sewards.
Let's head into the studio now to join Community Information Director Dave Byron as he sits down with his guest, Steve Olson, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Transportation, 5th District. They'll be talking about major new road projects and SunRail.
Thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. Well, you know what? There's always a little pain before there's some gain, and I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of construction work that's about to take place in Volusia County on Interstate 4 and Interstate 95. And there's a major project about to get underway on I-4 in the Central Florida, Orlando area. We want to get an update on these projects today, and we're very pleased to have with us in the studio Steve Olson. He's with the 5th District of the Department of Transportation based in DeLand. Steve, how are you doing today? Thanks for being with us.
Doing great. We've got a lot of stuff going on. You mentioned it right there.
Absolutely. You know, I want to kind of break this into three pieces if we can. First of all, I want to talk about the road work, the interstate work that's planned in Volusia County. And then I know you've got this monstrous project in Orlando on I-4, and then we'll catch up with SunRail. So let's start with the interstate highway projects that are planned for Volusia County. I know Governor Scott was here to announce them, so obviously lots of work scheduled here.
Well, what you're referring to is the I-95, I-4, US 92 realignment that's going to be going on in Daytona. And then we're widening I-95 all the way down to State Road 44 near New Smyrna Beach. And that's going to be the last section of I-95 to come in at 6 lanes. And so we're going to have 6 lanes from Miami all the way to the Georgia line. $239 million there, going to be getting underway in calendar year 2015. And, you know, the construction is probably going to last till about 2018. Now, the road will probably be widened before that, but a lot of structural work on that interchange. I mean, we're changing that thing around so that you don't necessarily have that left merge coming out of Daytona and then try to get way over to I-4. It's going to be more of a collector distributor where you can accelerate in lanes that are separated from the main line. It makes it safer and a heck of a lot more efficient. And then also, piggybacked onto that project, related but not necessarily tied to it, is a pedestrian overpass bridge that we're going to be putting in on US 92 right in that general area. And we hope to have that done before the big races in the spring, well, February of 2016. So that's there in place for the Daytona 500 team.
Let's move to I-4 in Volusia County. There's been, you know, quite a bit of work basically from State Road 44 over to Daytona Beach. Made the news a few times. It's been a little bit of a headache for some of the motorists. How are we doing on that project?
Well, we've got the concrete down on those westbound lanes. Everybody right now is sharing the eastbound side, but on the westbound side, we've got that concrete almost down. And the game plan is to switch the traffic that's sharing that eastbound side. They'll share the westbound side on that new concrete. And the traffic switch should be happening later this year. And then to get that side going, it'll probably go faster than the other side. And the goal is to try to get that open sometime in 2016. So that'll be really great thing.
So am I hearing you say, Steve, that that project should be wrapped up sometime in 16? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, yeah.
And that's been underway for a while now.
It has been. I mean, you know, you're looking at that I-4 project that's under construction now, and that area was pretty mucky. A lot of soil that we had to remove and such. And we're replacing asphalt with concrete. So the travel lanes there will be concrete, and then we'll have asphalt shoulders. But it's going to be pretty neat when that's done. That'll be really
you know, the challenge, it seems to me, and you guys know this far better than I do, but the challenge seems to me, these are very, very busy interstate highways. I mean, they carry thousands and thousands of cars. And when you have to tear them up, for you know, what eventually will be a public benefit, it can get pretty messed up at times.
Well, it can, and we learned some things on that I-4 project. That space is a good thing.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
No, but we did. There were some lessons learned there that, you know, you need to have those shoulders and some, you know, wider areas, you know, on the emergency lanes and such. And once we did that, once we dropped the speed limit down to 60 and we widened things out, even though it was a construction zone, it tended to take care of a lot of those problems that we were having there. We maintained the same number of lanes, you know, 2 in each direction that we had there when it was, you know, divided and such. But it's when it comes online later, it's going to be a real nice commute for the
All right, so when we wrap up this I-95 project and we wrap up the I-4 project, does that pretty much bring the interstates in Volusia County up to where they need to be? Is that
yeah, it does. You're going to be 6-lane on I-4, you're going to be 6-lane on I-95. It's going to be pretty decent, yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the big boy. There is a, I guess you're calling it the ultimate I-4 project through Orlando, which of course is going to affect, you know, everyone in Central Florida and beyond. What's the deal on that, Steve? That is a massive project.
It's $2.3 billion. It's a P3 project, so we're working with a concessionaire.
What does P3 mean, Steve?
Well, it's a public-private partnership. And basically what's happening with that is some of the financing is actually being done by the private consortium that's going to build this thing. And then after it is built, they're going to maintain it probably for the next 30-some years. So it's a big, big contract, but it's a design, build, finance, operate, maintain. And the game plan for I-4 down in the Orlando metro area is from roughly Seminole County, State Road 434 down to Kirkman Road, about 21 miles. We will be taking the interstate, widening it, and so all the free lanes that are there now are going to stay. They're just going to get pushed out to the outside. And then in the middle, we'll be dropping in variable toll lanes or express lanes. And the way that's going to work is when the express lanes start getting crowded, because we want to guarantee a speed about 50 miles an hour, let's say. And if people are paying good money for that, you don't want those lanes to get as congested as perhaps the free lanes are getting. So the price is going to go up. And so that's the game plan, to manage the traffic there, keep it flowing, and maybe make I-4 more efficient, not just for the people who are paying to use those express lanes, but for the folks also in the general use lanes who either choose not to use them. And let's say if you have a truck, a big truck, you can't use the express lane, so the trucks are going to be out of there. But that's the game plan. It's going to be about 6.5 years of construction, and we're not going to be shutting. We don't want to be taking away lanes during peak hours. That doesn't necessarily mean the lanes aren't going to shift here and there as we do construction through the downtown, but we don't want to be taking lanes away during peak, because if you look at where the 408, State Road 408, East-West Expressway and I-4 come together in downtown Orlando, on any given Monday through Friday day, you're pushing about 200,000 vehicles per day, you know, both directions through there, and that's a lot of traffic, yeah.
Steve, let me make sure I understand what you said here. Are you saying that there will be an option for motorists on I-4 in that area? Are you saying that they will have the option of basically a paid expressway option and a non-paid option?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
So if you want to take your chance on the traffic congestion, you go in the no pay. Is that what you're saying?
That's true, but with the lanes that are express lanes, they will probably free up a lot of traffic in general use lanes. So it gives folks options. Let's say there is a crash and you just have one section of I-4 that maybe is jammed up. You don't have to stay in those express lanes all 21 miles. We're going to have slip ramps where you can go between.
Really?
Yes. So you could get around the congestion, get back in the free lanes if you want to do that. So it gives you some options.
And when does this work start, Steve?
This work is going to start this spring. This coming spring, 2015, you can see some dirt turning and barrels going out there on I-4.
And 5 or 6 years, you said?
Probably closer to 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, while you're here, obviously SunRail is now underway, started in May, I guess. And, by all accounts, it's been well received. The DeBerry station in Volusia County, I think, is running number 2, I think, in terms of boardings. The parking lot is 80% or more full.
It's running number 1 as far as the parking lot goes. Yeah.
So now that you've had a few months of SunRail service under your belt, what are the lessons learned? I mean, how are we doing overall, do you think?
Well, we're looking at the numbers. We started out, pretty strong, and the numbers went up. They've taken a little bit of a dip here in the fall, and we're trying to figure out, why that is, how we can improve service, what we can do to bring those folks back. We're seeing that our commute times during the peak it's still pretty strong. But you know, what's happening during those off-peak times, and maybe what tweaks can we make? What can we do to do things better? And that, you know, it applies at the DeBerry station to all 12 stations that we have. But there are some things that we're looking at as far as a way to increase customer service, make it a little better, work on some of the equipment that's out there, make it work better, and just, you know, the overall customer experience, because that's what's going to make it a successful system or not, is to have those customers happy in riding those trains. Our commuters seem to be sticking with us, but we need to look at some of the other areas and see if we can bring those numbers up.
It seemed to me, Steve, when SunRail was launched, and you know, throughout the early part and mid part of the summer and so forth, there was a lot of excitement about train service, and it seemed to me, as I sat around and watched people at the DeBerry station, seemed to be an awful lot of them were not commuters, that they were people that were maybe taking SunRail, going to Winter Park or someplace, to Orlando, whatever for the day, coming back during the non-commuter times. And school started, maybe that was part of it. So maybe what you're getting into now is the traffic you have is really your target audience, the commuters.
That's true, but you know, and we think school may have played a part into that. You know, low gas prices could also be playing a part. But what's probably going to drive a lot of folks to the train is the I-4 project.
Yeah, I was going to say. You know, I was going to say, no matter how hard you try, that's going to be a headache.
Yeah. And if we start getting the large crowds again, then we will end up with those 3-passenger car configurations. We will be able to handle it that way. Right now we're running it on when we see 85% capacity. We bring a third car online. And so, you know, someday you may see it, you know, 2-passenger cars, someday you may see 3, but it's based on, you know, when we're starting to hit some capacity. But when I-4 gets fired up, we'll probably be seeing more of those 3-passenger car configurations.
And as far as Phase 2 in Volusia County, which is the DeLand station, we still on track for that?
We're chugging along. We're in the federal process. We're working on the design, and we're moving forward with that.
Is it funded?
We're working on that. We're working to try to get that federal funding in place.
All right. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. You know, I heard it said at an economic development meeting that interstate construction work in Volusia County was something well in excess of $500 million, and that's an economic development plus. People don't think about it, but all those construction workers and all that money being spent for those road projects enhances the local economy.
It does. And then long term, if you have an efficient transportation system and it's bringing people to the area, and you're seeing a lot of growth that's going to happen in Daytona, that's going to really bump up your economy in the years to come.
Well, Steve, again, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. Thanks for being with us.
Well, it's great. Thank you.
Our guest today, Steve Olson from the 5th District of the Department of Transportation. And with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.